My co-host today is Elisa Waterfield, who is an actress and a product spokeswoman. Our guest is Ross Jeffries, the guru of speed seduction.
First heard about Ross on WABC in New York, and what he was saying was so logical it made sense to me. I called and ended up speaking to Ross and attending a couple of his seminars. My criterion for a seminar, and I've taken several others, is pretty stiff. I want a solid criteria, not how I feel about it, but I want actual measurable changes so that I know that I wasn't just influenced, impressed, had a good time, entertained. And I can say that through Ross's seminars, I've come to a much better understanding of everything that's happening around me, whether it's sales, whether it's relationships, whether it's business. He deals with fundamentals, and he backs them up with so much data and so much verifiable, substantial documentation that you can actually measure and prove, as I proved to myself, that his teachings and the material that he brings together can make a substantial difference in your life as it did in mine.
The way we capture imagination is through telling stories. We don't give direct commands. If I looked at this lovely young lady sitting here and I said, I command you to feel fascinated with me, she'd give me a kick where it counts, okay? That doesn't work. But what does work is telling stories. Now, you used, I think what you called, I think you're referring to my Discovery Channel pattern, okay? I will say something like this. I'll say, you know, I was watching the most interesting show on the Discovery Channel, and they were interviewing a man who makes his living designing rides, attractions for amusement parks. And he said, when you just stop and imagine your ideal attraction, there are three elements. He said, first, when you take this ride, you enter a state of high arousal. I mean, you know that moment when you're sitting there in the roller coaster car and you're starting that first long, slow, vertical climb. That's right. And you can feel your heart pounding with excitement. You feel the adrenaline singing through every muscle group, and then you reach that peak, and then you're screaming on the way down.
That was, kind of the turning point for me, where I realized, holy shit, this stuff does work. And I mean, that was incredible. From then on, any chance I got, I was in a situation, I would throw these patterns out, and oftentimes I would kind of diminutize or lower the risk value to me by saying, you know what, I just read something crazy, and I want to hear what you think about this. Or, I just talked to my friend and they read this strange article about, and then I would go on to whatever the pattern is. So that, I got lucky, or got late, I should say. There really wasn't much luck involved. 2 or 3 times that semester, pretty predictably, I could tell exactly what I had done and see how it worked. And, a couple times it didn't work, and I knew I could figure out what I did wrong.
And as I thought about it, I thought to myself, isn't that the ideal description of the perfect connection between two people? And then I would go on to describe that. So what I'm doing is I'm quoting a presentation I saw and using very descriptive language. And you saw her response. She started to breathe different. Her breathing shifted. She went, now, even though she knows what I'm doing, she's been to my seminar, it had an effect. Did it not?
It does. It is very effective, Ross.
I teach my students that these tools are about making women feel wonderful. When you master these tools, and David's nodding his head, you truly can create feelings and states of consciousness in her that no one else can.
But my life was miserable because I realized 2 years after I got a divorce, which was 14 years ago, that I made a mistake and I wanted my family back. Ross Jeffries gets pinged a lot for the word seduction in his courses. His courses are much more than just speed seducing women. They teach you how to speed seduce life. Anybody who knows him and his team and comes to one of the courses, especially the week-long courses, will realize that you can use these things in every aspect of life. I've met so many people that had no need to seduce women are happily married or with their girlfriends, that have come here and learned so many nice things that they use in everyday life. My story is one that I took these lessons that I learned here, went to another seminar that is taught by one of his associates. It's a psychic mind seminar, Silva Mind Control. And I used it to regain my family back, something I've been trying to do through the system for 14 years and couldn't. It occurred in less than 2 weeks using the things I learned with Ross and his team.
See, for most men, dating is a form of gambling. You're rolling that dice, you're throwing the dart in the darkroom. Where'd the phrase, I got lucky, come from? It means, luck means you didn't control it. If you flew on an airplane, if you were flying to New York, and you looked in the cockpit and you said, hey pilot, how are you going to make sure we get to Los Angeles? How are you going to make sure we get to New York? And he said, maybe we'll get lucky. You get off the plane. Okay? Your sex life and your love life is as important as making a plane trip. Okay? So that power you're feeling is the power of predictability and control. That's what I'm giving men. That's what I'm offering men. And it's so unusual that people don't, it's hard for people to believe now that what I say is true. So you have to, as you're watching me at home, find your own reasons to believe what I'm saying is true. Only as naturally and easily as you find that curiosity about finding out more about me, continuing to grow.